Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the We Love Lawns and Gardens podcast. Very exciting. Today we got our very first guest. We got Chris from Fresh Cut Lawns in Shell Harbour. Hey Chris, how you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Bit of a rain day down here, so it was a good day for us to catch up, actually.
Yeah, it's been good. Um, those that don't know, like I'm in Camden, Chris is in Shell Harbour. We're probably like, an hour away from each other?
Yeah, probably not even that. Probably gets your place in 45, I reckon.
Yeah, 45 minutes. So same with me here in Camden. We're on a rain day. It was one of those days where we probably couldn't even get out to do any mowing today. I went out and did one early, but after that, came home for the day. So it's good to catch up. We've been trying to catch up for a little while. So
Yeah,
good to actually get some time and work it into a rain day. So it's good.
worked out well. Yeah, I was happy for the rain this morning. I didn't really want to go to work today, so it worked out well.
Yeah, very good. So, mate, I thought we would start, if we want to just start about fresh cut lawns down in Shell Harbour. Like, if you want to give me a bit of your journey from the start, like when you first started mowing lawns, and then we'll get into a little bit of business advice, like where you're currently at with your business, what the sort of strategy is, and where you've been and where you're going to in the next little while.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I started this, like most people that started probably was just as a side gig. I love doing my own lawn when we lived in Kingsgrove up in Sydney, and during COVID, my personal training business got shut down for the second time with all the COVID lockdown. I started doing a bit of a lawn care business as a side hustle, and it quickly overtook what I was doing in PT within the first 3 months. So we switched over to doing this as I call it a part time job. It's actually my full time and only job that I do. I just work part time hours. So I'm quite
Yeah,
happy with
that's
where it's
good.
at.
Like when you were doing that as like a side hustle, like back all those years ago, did you think that it could actually be like a full-time job, or was it always like back at that time, were you always just thinking like this is just like a side hustle for more money to work alongside the PT stuff?
Yeah, no, I knew it could become something. I did a bit of research into the area before we moved here. 'Cause we were living in Sydney, and then we moved down to Shell when we had our first kid in. I think we moved here in about November of 2021. And I officially launched the business in January 2022. But it's in our fourth season now, and I did a bit of research online to see what the competition would be, like what websites people had in the area, who was on Google, what pops up, and I realized pretty quickly that I could take over and rank pretty high pretty quickly.
Yeah, because I guess like Shell Harbour, like for those that don't know, like Shell Harbour's kind of got its own little pocket, doesn't it? Like in the South Coast.
Yeah, so we're surrounded
Like
with between the sea and the mountains, so there's just a nice little area down here where we get plenty of rainfall down here as well, which is kind of nice. Um, but yeah, everyone just stays down here, and once you move here, you don't move out.
Yeah, and like we were talking earlier, but for those that don't know, like I lived in Camden my whole life, so my business has always been in the Camden area. I moved down for a quick stint in Bulli, which is pretty close to Shell Harbour,
It
and
gets further north, yeah.
yeah, and then I've actually just moved back in the last couple of weeks. But like I was surprised that because of the mountain down there, like there seems to be like a lot of wet weather down there. And like I guess with that sun and rain, like you must get pretty good growing conditions for the grass. And we kind of spoke that you mow like nearly all the way through, don't you? Like with your fortnightly cuts, like you get
Yes,
a longer range.
we just switched over our weeklies, like, last week to back to fortnightly,
Yeah, right.
and then all our fortnightlies will run till June. Pretty much July and August are our quietest months down here, where we'll have about 8 to 10 weeks of just quiet time, catch up on some gardening work, tree trimming, mulching, do whatever I feel like doing in that time.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, when you started, did it all, like, build up pretty quickly? Like, was it ever an issue that, like, you were forgetting work? Like, was it something that sorta escalated pretty quick, or what was it
Yeah, so
like?
I put a lot of effort into my Google and website, so we ranked pretty well on Google instantly. I think I put my Google profile up, and like the next day was my first call, was someone calling me to get a quote for their lawn care. So, and I pretty steadily averaged like 3 to 5 calls a week, year round, for people wanting to get their lawns done.
Yeah, right. So it's all gonna build pretty quickly if that's the sort of traction you can get. And I guess, you know, if you're implementing sort of 3 to 5 customers, every week, or if you're getting like a portion of those through your quotes, like pretty quickly you're gonna build up, a full-time run
Yeah.
pretty quick. Like how long do you reckon it took you to get to just being able to do it full time and like making enough money to be able to supplement
I
that?
started in January, and I was doing the PT. So I was doing lawn care twice a week, PT 3 times a week in Sydney. So I drive to Sydney 3 days a week to do my PT clients. And I'm pretty sure I quit my PT job in May. So it took me 4 months before I just
Yeah, right.
transitioned to doing it full time. Well, part time. I still only work part time. I only work 3 days a week. So
Yeah, yeah. What do you like better? Do you reckon the mowing's better than PT work or?
I like the mowing because it's you just get it done, then you go. With PT, it was you had to be on the client's schedule as well, like
Yeah.
before work, after work, in their lunch
Yeah.
breaks. You only get paid when you train them as well. With this, I can bunch all the work together and get it all done, then go home and we're done for the day. So I do enjoy this a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, like, looking back, I think I kind of forgot how much work's involved in setting everything up, like, even though, like, the Google My Business stuff and the website stuff and all of that, like, it when you think about it and you go back, it seems like it was all done pretty quickly, but now that we're doing the coaching side of business, like, I'm starting to set all this stuff up again, and I'm, like, realizing how much work's actually involved, you know, to get it to a stage where it does have, good lead gen coming into your business, people are actually interested, you're ranking pretty good. Like, would you be, like, ranked, highly in Google down in the Shellharbour area? Are you, like,
Yeah,
number 1 or?
pretty much every time because I jump on my phone wherever I am and jump on like lawn mowing
Yeah.
near me, and we rank in my service area. We rank as number one every time.
Yeah, okay.
But
And
I
how
was
did you
lucky.
get
I
that?
was lucky enough that I my Google business profile has a location on it.
Yeah.
So my old house in Flinders, which is in Shellharbour, is where my business is pops up on the map, Google Maps, as a
Yeah,
location.
okay.
So we rank high because we have a home base kind of thing. Because that was
Yeah.
back when it was super easy to send a video and say, "Hey, this is where I run my business from," and Google approved it. Whereas now it's much, much harder to get approved for a location. You can do a service area pretty well, pretty easily,
Yeah.
but to have that location, people know that I live in Flinders or I live down the
Yeah,
street
yeah,
from
yeah,
them,
yeah.
so they know that I'm a local.
So, did you do your website and all that yourself?
Yeah, I did all my website through Squarespace. Took me about, you know, 3 hours maybe to build my website, and then
Yeah.
I just update it as needed now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like, I've been doing a bit of research on this space, like websites, landing pages, any of, like, the marketing stuff, like, I think pretty quickly that stuff's gonna go into the world of AI being able to sorta, like, generate stuff pretty quickly for it and
Yeah.
update stuff. Um, so, like, I think back to, like, doing my first website. We actually updated the We Love website, probably, like, a year ago, but like, the original one was just one that I made up, and it was probably pretty good. It might have actually I reckon it probably actually performed better, to be honest, but anyway, like, looking back at, getting all the pictures in and getting them right and moving
Mhm.
them and just typing everything out. This is probably, like, 5 years ago or so, but you think back to, like I think back to, like, what, it was like back then, and you're kinda developing a lot of the stuff yourself, whereas I can see different tools around now with AI where you can literally just bang out a website in like 2 minutes and, you've got this great, great website there. So, um, I think, like, looking back for We Love anyway, like, our website probably it performs pretty well and sits up the top of Google, but we don't get a heap of inquiries. We get a lot more of our inquiries through social media and that. So I don't know what you think. Like, how does it work for you at the moment? Are you getting a lot of website inquiries or socials or?
Probably 80% of my leads come from the Google Business profile, where they just call me and ask for a quote. The other 20% are filling out the form on the website to get a
Yeah.
quote. So not
Yeah.
many people
Okay.
actually go to the website. The website purely runs in the background to optimize my Google page. And to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
honest,
yeah,
I
yeah.
when I first did the website, I didn't like it. I thought it was a terrible website, but it worked, so I just never changed it.
Yeah, it's interesting to think, like, it's not really about what you like, is it? Like, you might think it doesn't work, but if it's performing, then, like, it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter
Like
what's on it,
like
so
the other week, it would have been in April or March. I got 21 calls in a week for people wanting
yeah,
quotes for their lawns. It was insane.
that's really good going, mate, for, like, that time of year as well, like, that's it probably just started raining a bit again, didn't it? Like, around that time and got
I
everyone
don't remember
going
what
again?
triggered, but yeah, it just went crazy. It was insane.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So just going back, so you started off, you've got all your marketing stuff plugged in, you're starting to
Mhm.
generate leads and all of that sort of thing. What what was the next move? Like, I guess as you started getting the filling up each day and you got to the stage where you're working full time, like, did you look to hire people or what did it all look like?
Yeah, so because I was only doing it part-time because we had our daughter, and me and my wife were both just working 3 days a week, so we could look after her the other days. Um, I filled up pretty quick. I could only manage, like, because I was just starting, I was just learning, I could only do, like, 10 to 12 lawns a day by myself, and once we reached that limit, I then looked out to hire someone and, just hired a casual. He worked with me for 3 years, before I let him go early this year. That's another story. I'm sure we'll get to that one. Um, and then that was just so I could increase my capacity so we could bump up to about 20 lawns a day, with the two of us. Um, and then I really shrunk down our service area as well, so we didn't have to travel as far over the years. I think my furthest client from me right now is like 4 kilometers from my house.
Yeah, right. That's good
So
going. Hey, that's so
it's
good.
pretty close. Because we do commercial properties on the weekends, the two that are furthest from my house are the two commercial properties, and
Yeah.
I do them first. So I do one which is about a 7-minute drive from my house, and I drive all the way to the other one which is the other furthest one from my house, which is about 10 minutes away from that one in the opposite direction.
Yeah, okay.
And then everything else is in
Yeah,
between there.
that's good.
So we got very
Yeah,
lucky with our density.
that's gold. When you hired your guy, did you find that did he have experience? Like, did it take him long to get up to his sort of 10 lawns a day or whatever? Or did you have
So
him with you, or
we
did
just
he go
worked in
by
pairs.
himself?
We've always worked in pairs, just in the same car. He actually doesn't have his license, so I pick him up from his house, and we'd go to work. I actually found because my father-in-law actually runs a mining business as well. He's just down the road from us in Marilla. He's about a 5-minute drive from my house, and he lived across the road from my father-in-law, and he was doing a bit of lawn care with one of his mates as well. So then he was pretty quick to teach him how I did it. He'd already done it for a couple of years with someone else, so we jumped on board with us, and yeah, he worked with me for the past 3 years before I decided to downsize.
Yeah, that's good. That's, like, that was kind of one thing. I got lucky with my stuff early on. Like, I hired 2 guys, which were really good. They worked with us for a couple of years. Um We used to run everyone in single crews. So, like, I'd train people and then we'd go out with like a single crew of guys just working on their own. But I think, like, looking back, like, I probably would have had people working more in pairs because I think, like, culturally it probably works a bit better. I just thought, well, over time it became, I kind of found that it was easier, I thought, for people to do like 10 lawns on their own than for a pair to do 20 lawns every single day. Um, Over a long period of time, like, obviously there's days that it works and it's easy, but, like, I think that was probably a learning from when I had my crew. Like, I'd probably put people together, even if they do, less lawns, culturally, I think it's probably better and just keeps, like, the spirits higher amongst the group and probably, keeps people around for longer and interested for longer as well.
Yeah, you just
Did
gotta
you sort of
balance
run it
that,
as that?
you just gotta balance the travel time. Like, my route is so dense that we only travel, like, 1 to 2 minutes between lawns, so traveling
Yeah,
with 2 people in a car, wages-wise, doesn't make a much difference at all. So it worked out
yeah.
well for us. But yeah, I did have the idea of going into a singles, but then I had to buy another car, I had to buy all new equipment, whole 'nother setup. Cost-wise, it was much more efficient just to run as a couple, as a two-man crew.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. So like as you started to grow with your person, like if I go back to that time, were you like in your mind, were you planning like I'm just gonna have 10 people working for me, just this humongous business, or were you always sort of like keeping it pretty controlled, or like what was your thoughts like back then?
I did see the potential to build a big crew, and I probably still could if I wanted to. It's more the side of the business of handling all the admin of all the extra customers you would need to manage. And also, from a personal point of view, I probably wouldn't actually earn any more money personally if I had a big team. My wages would probably be about the same, if not less, because I'd have to invest so much more money back into the business. And that's just not something I want to do right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, and we can touch on it in a little bit, but like, I think people always take that journey and they think like you're always in this battle to try and get more work. So I think you get more and more work, and you're always trying to get more, 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 and then I feel like there's this kind of like real sweet spot around. You might get to sort of 200-ish customers or something around that, and then you start to really look at your expenses, and you're like, okay, well I've been working now for all this time and I've got all these customers. We're doing heaps of lawns a day and all of that sort of thing. And then they might think, like, okay, well, where's all the money? Like, I don't have all this money in my bank account. I don't have all these, beautiful cars and holidays and all that sort of thing. And then they start to understand that while they've been trying to build this business, they've kind of put everything they can into it, and that revenue top numbers getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but their expenses is actually following it as well. And I feel like, the more people we talk to in our coaching business, the more people like at that mark of, 150 customers and might be making, might be $500,000 a year or whatever. They think and they without having a really good idea on their expenses and what their profit actually looks like, they're actually sitting there going, I'm almost just breaking even from what I'm doing, and it's all not as sunshine rainbows as I probably thought it would be when I got to this mark.
Yeah.
Um, and I think, no one really teaches us this sort of stuff. A lot of us just become mower guys or whatever, and we're all just sort of trying our best. And I think most people think that the way forward is just to keep working harder and harder and harder, and more money will magically appear. But I don't come across many people at the moment when I'm talking to them that have like a really good idea of their numbers and what they're actually doing as far as their expenses and their planning and all that sort of thing goes. But was there like a moment that you sort of got right into the financials of it all, or was that something you were just naturally like good at from the start, or did you sort of have a moment where you're like, I need to really, record and analyze this so that I can know where I'm up to?
It wasn't something I was good at the start. I just want to say that's what I like about your podcast is that you go into the numbers. A lot of the American podcasts that we generally listen to, all they care about is their top line revenue, and they never actually talk about the profits. So everyone just seems to chase the big number and like, oh, I'm doing $1 million. I'm like, but you probably only earn 50 grand yourself. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
That's just, I want to say, shout you out for that, for taking this stance and being like, hey, know your numbers so you know what you're taking home.
Yeah. It's funny because like, I used to always I don't even know if I've spoken about it on a podcast, but, like, I'll catch up with a couple of mates, like, once a month pretty much. We all just go out for dinner and have a catch up. They're my mates that I've been mates with for ages, and, like, the common question when everyone's pretty much businessmen, like, in the group, and, like, the common question that we all get asked or I get asked is like, "Oh, how many guys you got working for you now?" And, like, I'll say 2 or 4 or 5 or whatever, and then it always makes me laugh that that's kind of like a measure of, like, how good you're going, and, like, it's true, like, I think I spent so many years at the start just being like, "Oh, I'm making X amount a month or X amount a year," and that was all it, but, like, the actual amount of profit that you make, obviously, as you know, is like the most important thing. And then it's like, what are we doing this for? Like, what are we actually, it might be great how much money you're making and how many guys you have working for you, but like you're just completely going around in a circle and not making any profit from it. It's an interesting one because a high percentage of people, and this is kind of why we wanted to do the podcast, is like just trying to educate people because, like, once it all clicks and you understand it, it just becomes so much easier not only to do business, but just to be happy within your business as well, like, which is
Yeah.
just so important.
Yeah, exactly. That's why well, we'll get to it eventually. That's why I downsized, just to be happier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we do, like, what did the top end look like? Like, before you did downsize, so, like, obviously, we'll talk about, downsizing and why and how it all worked, but, like, what was the top end? Like, did it get to, couple of people working for you, working 6 days? Like, what was it all looking like?
Yeah, so I ended up with 2 casuals working for me. One casual did 4 days a week, the other one did 2 days a week, and then I would also be in the field 2 days a week. So we'd always work in pairs, 4 days a week, two guys always out in the field. We were managing about 220 customers. Well, it might be a bit more, a bit less, but somewhere around 220, and they were all either on or in from what is it, August till from September till July. They're all on at least fortnightly or weekly schedules. So it's quite a lot of lawns to cut every week. You're looking at about 110 to 120 lawns a week that we're trying to manage in 4 days a week. So it becomes a lot of work to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's actually funny, like, not funny, but scary looking back, actually. Like, you look back and you think how many moving parts there are in like a full week when you're knocking out, what did you say, like 120
Mm.
lawns a
Yeah,
week, that sort of
yeah,
thing.
it's a lot.
Yeah, like, it's, I guess the better you get at doing it and the better your systems are, like, it's scary to think how seamlessly you can get it running with so many moving parts, when you've got 20 lawns a day or 25, 30 lawns a day, and then you're like, it just happened quite easily, and you're like, far out, like, we're actually getting pretty good at doing this, and it's not, really pushing us too far out of shape each day, and we're just sort of knocking it out pretty easily. I reckon it's pretty cool to look at it when it comes to that sort of thing, and you go, far out, like, we did 30 lawns today, and we had no dramas, and everyone knocked off on time, and
Mhm.
whatever it was, it all went well. It's, like, pretty awesome to look at how good you are actually running your business at that time.
Yeah. So yeah, it works out well. It's just very stressful on the back end to you finish your day's work and then you got to go home and set up the next day's schedule and message all those clients, let
Yeah.
them all know you're coming, and then handle all the new inquiries, and it just became a lot. And then I'd fall behind on the admin side, on the reconciling invoices and stuff like that. So then you miss invoices and you forget about them, and 3 months later, like, oh, this guy never actually paid me, and it just became a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah, did you do all the invoicing and everything in your business?
Yeah, so I was the admin person. We use, yeah, they just changed the name to Homework. Used to be called Copilot.
Okay, yeah,
That does all like invoicing and auto reconciles a lot of the stuff. If they pay through the app or through the program, it auto reconciles them, which made a big difference to us. But because like 60-70% of our clients do bank transfer because they're like insurance customers or NDIS or home care packages, you still have to go in there manually enter those in.
yeah,
When you're
yeah,
doing
that's,
when you're doing 20 invoices a day, it's a lot of work.
yeah, it's funny, like, I used to do all my invoicing myself. We hired someone to do, like, customer service, admin. She's still with me now, actually, like, she's been working in our business for, like, 3 years, and she had a day off, like, pretty early, so I'd done, like, years and years of just invoicing myself, and she had a day off, and that night I'd send out all the invoices, call it 20 invoices or whatever. And I used to just sit there on the lounge and invoice, invoice, invoice. And then when she came back, I said, oh, don't worry about Thursday. I did all the invoicing. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've already checked it. I'd like cross checked it. And I said, yeah, it was all done. And she goes, well, you actually missed like a couple of invoices out of the whole list.
Yeah.
And I was like, far out. And then it's like scary to actually think like how many you might have missed over the years of people doing it. So like for us, it actually worked pretty good. Like there's not really that much need for it now, but like at the time when you are doing like 30 invoices, having someone that can like solely sit down and do it, I reckon almost can start to pay for itself. If you are missing as many as me, hopefully no one does, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, you think you're doing this great job of doing it, but like, when I look back, I was actually missing them and had no idea. So it's pretty scary to think, but yeah, yeah. So, so you got to that peak, and then what, I guess, like, what were the thoughts that started creeping in? Like, what, when you started thinking, okay, well, like, I might start to downsize, or like, what was that moment like, that breaking moment where you're like, okay, I'm gonna actually look to reduce what we're doing, or yeah,
Yeah.
what was all that like?
Yeah, so that happened in December, just gone, December 25. Like my kids are 2 and 4. Well, now they're 2 and 4. Like that, and all I wanted to do was just hang out with them, but I had the stress of having to do all this work at night or in my free time. It was always on my mind of what are the boys doing when they're out there working by themselves? Like I'm trying to enjoy a day with my kids, but I'm checking my phone constantly to see are they up to the schedule? Are they going to get it all done today? So I made the decision in probably mid-December that I was going to downsize in the new year. And I was going to tell the boys that, hey, I'm not going to have any more work for you guys coming up soon. Um, but I'm downsizing, so I'm going to have all these extra clients that need to go somewhere. Do you guys want to go and start your own lawn care business, and you guys can just take over all these clients? And you just take them.
Yeah.
And like, do you know the properties already? I'll tell you where they are. I'll tell you the schedule when they're due to be done, and you guys can just go and do it by yourselves. And I told them that first week back in January after Christmas break, and end of Feb, um, end of Feb, no, end of January. They started by themselves.
Yeah, right. So they would
So
have been cheering, right?
yeah, so I spent all of January training and helping out my longest employees with me for 3 years. So he took over as he started his own business and hired the other guy to work with him.
Oh, wow.
So I think I gave away like 100 clients. Like here's 100 clients. Go and start your own business. And
Wow.
we set him up. He got set up with Sortscape to manage all his clients. Got all his gear sorted out. Luckily his roommate still had all the lawn mowing gear from when he had his lawn care business. And I said, why don't you just offer to buy the gear off him? It's sitting in the garage for 2 years anyway. Like, just go and run that. It was all the same gear we use anyway. It was Toro Time Masters and Husqvarna battery gear. So it was all perfect
Yeah,
for him
okay.
to his own business. And yeah, so as of February, he started his own with his own, was 80 odd, 100 odd clients. So yeah.
Yeah, right, and
And I
is he
posted it
going
in the
good
other day
now?
and everyone said I was stupid for just giving it away. I should have sold it to him.
Yeah, well, like, that's the thing, but yeah, I don't know, it's interesting because, like, I've heard of people doing different things. Like, I know there's another contractor in my town that just giving away customers. As his, commercial business started, like, really popping off, he started to just give away all his residentials, and, like, at the time, I was like, "Oh, shit, who would do that?" But now I can sort of see, why you're gonna do it. You're sort of probably gonna get rid of some of your, smaller customers or whatever and keep more of the others. But, how's he going now? Are they still going along all right?
Yeah, they're still good. I see them out. We'll drive past because we work in the same area, we work in the same suburbs. Every time I'm out, I swear they drive past the house I'm cutting, and he beeps and we wave to each other on the way past. And he still calls me if he needs to borrow some gear. If something with his brakes, he gives me a call. I say, yes, come grab mine for the day. Come take it. Do whatever you need. So yeah, still good friends, and we'll probably keep in touch. And probably in the new once spring hits, he'll probably hit me up for some new leads. He kind of just I was giving him more leads, and he said stop him. He like I can't handle all the extra work
Yeah,
right now.
right.
So he'll settle in over
Yeah.
winter, and then we'll ramp him back up in spring.
Yeah. So what, like, so for us, like, I think it's important too to think about it, like, if anyone is looking to downsize, one of the things that we did, and, like, probably not saying I'm an expert at it, but I think one thing to think about is, like, the type of lawns that you're actually gonna be cutting for your equipment as well. Like, got a 32-inch, Skag stander, and so we kind of, like, run it between like commercial acreage, residential, and like in the residential, it's kind of like push mowing and standers as well. So it I don't know, I think, like, it's easy to just sort of try and take all the higher paying jobs, but sometimes, like, I guess, like, route density is, like, one of them, and then, like, what sort of machinery you actually have and what machinery you can use on those properties
Mhm.
for the ones you're gonna keep before you actually make that call on which ones you'll
Mm.
keep and which ones you won't.
Yeah.
Did you have any, like, method to doing it or
So the way I split it up was I kept all of the higher paying jobs, obviously.
Yeah,
So I kept all the insurance ones, all the NDIS, all the aged care packages. Pretty much kept them because they're on regular schedules year round. So I know exactly what I'm turning up to. I know what work's booked in for winter already. And then I kept all the neighbours of those people that have stopped us and asked for services as well. And then I kept all the high end clients in down by the water and stuff that get the extras done. Pretty much I had a cut unless the client spent about 2 grand a year with us minimum. We got rid
yeah.
of them.
Yeah, okay.
And then
And
I also because I was going back solo, I had to get rid of ones that needed 2 people to lift the mower into the backyard or had too many stairs
yeah,
and that sort of stuff. That cut me down to about 80 to 90 clients I kept for myself,
yeah.
and, I think we've built back up to about 100, now because we got more inquiries. So
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, because it's interesting to me, like there would be like some customers' lawns that like I'd cut by myself, and like I would absolutely hate doing them for whatever reason. And
mhm,
then like our staff would actually love those people, and then they would hate like Mrs. Jones around the corner's property to mow, and I'd love that one. And I'm like, everyone kind of has a bit of a different outlook on like the lawns that they want, that they like and they don't, or the customers and whatever. And I think part of the method for us was there was people in there that you just don't like cutting their lawns for whatever reason, and it's like nothing, personal, and you can't quite put your finger on it. But I think it also like plays in where we're at the moment is like there was, you know, ton of lawns that I would. I guess I kind of worked out that if there's like 5 lawns out of 10 in there that I don't really love doing, then like they're part of the list that I should let go. And, I think that's important too, even when people are trying to build their businesses, is that, yeah, they might be good paying jobs and all of that sort of thing. But like, if you don't really like doing it for whatever reason, or if there's stairs or the grass type or whatever it might be at the time, then
mhm,
eventually that's going to get on top of you and you're going to hate doing it. So I think, that can be another thing, like, especially when people are looking to get rid of customers too. Like, I've been pretty strict with, my cutting over the last little while. And you got to be a little bit careful, but also too to think like there's just lawns that I just don't like doing. And it's as simple as that. And it is what it is. And, I'll give them to someone else and then I don't have to deal with them. There's, they might love doing them and I don't, and that's fine, and vice versa. But I
mhm.
think, that happiness of what you get out of a day is actually plays a pretty big role in, whether you like your day or whether you don't.
That's it, yeah. So another criteria I had for mine was, which probably sounds silly to a lot of people, was unless I could use the 30-inch Time Master, I didn't want to do the job.
Yeah.
If I had
Yeah.
to use a 21-inch mower because that's what fits down the side of the house, gone. You're off my list because I hate using a 21.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than having tight access into a big backyard and having to use a tiny mower.
Yeah.
So I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
you're gone."
Is that what you use now? So you use Time Masters?
That's it. That's all I got. Yeah, I used to have a Turf Master, and then when
Yeah.
that went, we bought it was getting fixed, so I bought a brand new Time Master to test it out, and, yeah, I won't go back. We love the Time Master now.
Because isn't the Time Masters like more of the residential one, isn't it?
It
But
is,
that
yeah.
seems to be better than the Turf Master, which is the commercial one or something?
Yeah, like, I ran the Turf Master for 3 years, and we only just got the Time Master in, I think it was December or November, and, it's so much easier to use. It's so much lighter. Um,
Yeah.
it just glides through the yards. It is a bit underpowered, like, I would love to get a bigger motor on it, and when this one goes,
Yeah.
I'll definitely upgrade that, and I'll upgrade a few things on it, but I won't go back to the, Turf Master.
Yeah, and what's the go with, like, all the upgrades or something that people talk about? Like, is there, like, belt upgrades or something like that that people you put on them
Yeah,
or
because it did like, I'll tell you the story of mine. I had mine for 5 months, and I blew the motor went on it. We blew the motor up, and,
Yeah,
took it in under warranty, and they fixed it, and, I did the maths in the back of my head on how many lawns this thing had done, and it had done 1,146 odd lawns in 5 months. And
yeah, right.
for a residential mower, it's not meant to do commercial work. I've done the maths, and that's one mowing your lawn once a week for 22 years is how much work I did on this mower in 5 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
it
Yeah,
had done
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot for a non-commercial mower. So
Yeah.
they replaced it under warranty, and the mower guy said, "Look, next time it goes, we'll just upgrade the motor to the commercial version,
Yeah, right.
and that'll go better."
Yeah,
So, yeah.
'cause,
Oh,
like
and then there's a couple of, pulleys
there's
on the top that are made out of plastic.
yeah.
You just upgrade them to metal ones, and it runs sweet.
Yeah, because like, people either tend to be the Toro crew or not. Hey, like, you see people are like, "I'm only ever gonna run those," or
Yeah,
like, we run Hondas, yeah, like, I don't have too many days where I'm, like, using the push mowers, but simply just because that's what I've always used. I know how to fix them and all of that sort of stuff, but I do sometimes think that, I wouldn't mind having that 30-inch cut in my trailer somewhere, um, and yeah, it's weird. Like, I've kinda looked into the Toro stuff at different times and, like, you see people either love them or they hate them. Like, there seems like there's no, like, middle
yeah,
ground with them, and
yeah,
that's probably what's made me shy away, but I do like the idea of a 30-inch cut, like, that would be
yeah.
gold.
It's good, yeah, I love it. It makes cutting grass so quick, especially because we only do maintenance. We don't do much overgrown stuff anymore. So I'm there
Yeah,
every 2 weeks at worst, so there's not much to cut off.
yeah, yeah. And are you a grass catcher guy, mate, or you're a mulcher or
Yeah, no, we catch. I hate mulching. We catch everything. Everyone here has their
yeah,
green
okay,
bin.
yeah.
We just put it in their green bin, and it gets picked up by the
Yeah,
council. So, yeah, we
yeah,
catch
yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah, oh, okay, so, you've pretty much, like, so you've gone right back, like, I guess to start with, like, I take my hat off to just handing over customers, that's gold, like, to set someone up like that is so good, and, what do you like, what are you finding now? So, like, were you on the tools before you started, like, reducing down your customer list and everything, were you on the tools at all or
Yeah.
full-time or,
Yeah,
like
no, so at the peak, just before I let the guys go, I was doing 2 days a week, and then they were doing the other days by themselves. But we've
yeah,
only ever done 4 days a week. We've never done 5, unless we're trying to
yeah,
catch up with
right,
something. Usually only do 3 or 4 days a week for days like today where we get a rain day. I can just push everyone back into those open days in the week.
yeah,
It makes scheduling a lot less stressful. Um,
yeah,
but I
that's
make
a good
enough
way to
money
do it.
that it doesn't matter if I do 3 days or 4 days, you know?
Yeah.
So just so
No,
you
I love
everyone
that.
knows, I downsized my business. We went from an average cut of $90 per cut when I had the crew, and since I downsized and got rid of a few clients, and my average cut now is $130.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
We bumped up a
So,
long way.
I th yeah, I think it's important to talk about this actually just before we go on to some of the things that you've found, like, since you've downsized, but what can tend to happen from what I've seen anyway, and, like, maybe you can talk to this a bit more, but, like, you can have some really high paying customers and some really low paying customers. And if you're talking about your averages overall of, like, all of your customers and the average cut for each one, you can have, like, 3, 4, 5, whether it be commercial or bigger customers that really drive the overall average up. And I think it's important to think like, and vice versa too, right? Like, you might have like 50% which are really low, which are going to drag your average down. I think one of the problems that can happen is if, like, you start to lose 2 or 3 of those really high paying jobs at the top, what that can do to your overall average. And you might be at $100, but you might really drop down to like $80 or something like that. So it's important to look at it them like as a whole, like how many, if your average is say like $100 per cart for each of your customers, like how many customers are actually under that $100, and like how many, if you were to move the bottom, say 20% away, how much that's going to really skyrocket your top end price for your average cart. And that's probably what's happened to you, right? Like you've probably had heaps of like 70, $80 carts that you've moved on, which has put your average really up high. Um, and then you're really dealing with that cream of like your customer list, I guess, which only people that sort of downsize start to understand, because they just move on all of their bottom, their bottom chunk of lower paying customers.
That's it, yeah.
But like, I guess what do you reckon is like some strategies that people could think about? Like if they're not looking to downsize, how do you reckon you'd tackle it as like a whole customer? Like if you got 200 and you've got a whole heap of lower paying customers, like it can be a real problem within someone's business how you get all of those lower paying ones up. And like, what's something you reckon you could do to do that?
I mean, first thing you have to do is just do your general price increases to bring them up to where they should be or where you know they need to be. If you know what you're targeting per hour for your revenue, you just time how long it takes you to do the job, and if they're below where they need to be, you have to increase them to get them up to what everyone else pays.
Yeah.
One thing that people tend to make the mistake of is they think in terms of how much they would spend to have this service done, not how much someone else
Yeah.
would spend or how much money they have. Because we do have an aging population, a lot of these people have a lot of money sitting around in retirement that they need to spend.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go out there and charge ridiculous prices because you can. I mean, I'm just saying people will pay more than what you think they will.
Mm.
Um, and the other thing that I've implemented because I've got more time now to do it is we've just upsold clients onto fertilizer and weed control programs, so that and I just add that I either add it as a once-off yearly fee for them, or we add it to their packages, and they just pay for it over the year.
Yeah. And like, what percentage of people do you find that like took that on? Like, did people lap it up or?
Yeah, a fair few. I don't haven't done it to all the clients yet because I want to make sure I can actually provide the service properly to everybody. And you've got to do it at the right time of year when you're trying to put down your pre-emergence and stuff like that, so you can have it in the right window. Um, but pretty much everyone that I present it to goes for it. But it's also making it in a way that they feel stupid to say no to the offer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if you know Alex Hormozy, the business guy from
Yeah.
America. He has the
Yeah.
$100 million offers book, which is like
Yeah.
make an offer so good people feel stupid to say no to. So,
Yeah.
so I'll do like yearly liquid fertilizer program. Let's say $500.
Yeah.
But in that, I will put in if you do this program for the yearly, I'll spray your lawn every 4 weeks with premium liquid fertilizer. I will add in the weed control for free. But in
Yeah.
the quote, it also has weed control program, $300 for the year.
Yeah.
So it seems stupid for them to say $300 for weed control when they can do $500 and get fertilizer and weed control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I so we went down this road a while back. I just kept seeing the Coochie Hydro Green guys around town just
Hmm.
spraying lawns, and I was like, I need to be part of this. Like we actually went pretty far down trying to get it all going, and it, like probably most people, like implementing it into like a current like lawn care business was actually probably trickier than I first thought it would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
But we went through all of the products that we were going to use. We actually bought everything. Had a mix of like 6 different products that we were putting into one tank to spray out on lawns to actually, cover off weeds, cover off fertilizer, pest control, all that sort of stuff. So I just it just seems like there's such a big demand. Like no one really rivals in where I live anyway. No one really rivals like the Coochie Hydro Green sort of setup. And I think like anyone that can actually nail that is just gonna go really well, but I just don't see anyone that can really take it on at the moment, especially
Yeah,
up here.
yeah,
Um, I guess there's, like, issues with the scheduling and all of that, but I think as far as just like a standard lawn care business goes, like it's almost like a must do. Like you can just make so much money on top, can't you, than just the standard mowing. But I think the challenges are around how you actually schedule in. If you've got a full day, how do you schedule in that extra work on a repetitive basis? We were never good at doing it, and I don't know the answer to how you do it, but, I'm sure there's people out there that do it really well, but we would always just run, like, full days for everyone, so, like, doing any ad hoc stuff on top became hard.
yeah. You just need that space in the day. Like my typical day runs from like 9 till 3. So if I need to
Yeah,
add more into the back end, I can comfortably add some extra sprays. But I also only do it for existing clients. Like I won't go to someone's house just to spray.
yeah,
And I do use
yeah,
it as a little bit of a lost leader. Like I don't make a lot of money off doing it, but it lets me cut their grass more often because their grass looks better. It also attracts more clients because they go, "Oh, this lawn looks amazing. Like, how do I get that? This fresh cut lawns guy
yeah,
knows what he's doing. Like, this is the best lawn on the street now. I'm going to call him to come cut my grass." That's sort of
yeah.
stuff we get from it.
Yeah, I think to like anyone that's listening, like it's so worth like actually understanding what's involved in doing lawn sprays for weeds and doing like, whether it's like a liquid fert application or whatever it is. There's so much work that we would pick up from people that are like, yeah, I've got a lawn care guy, but he doesn't like do weed sprays in lawns and stuff. And you know, it's kinda like, a dentist that doesn't do fillings or whatever, like, how serious are you about, doing your role? And it's actually quite easy to learn if that's which way you wanna go with it. So, I don't know, I always cringe a little bit when people are like, "Oh, yeah, I'm a lawnmower dude, but, like, I don't, spray, I don't fertilize, I don't do any of that stuff." And it's not really about niching down, it's more so that they don't wanna upskill themselves to be able to understand how to do it, and I'm like, it's just so easy to make the money on top of what you're already doing, but, I don't understand why they don't go down the route of learning how to do it.
Yeah. Or you can even just add in a granular fertilizer program.
Yeah,
Like if you want to quote someone at, let's say it's $100 a lawn, give them a quote for 110. Say, hey, but it includes a yearly granular fert. We'll put down fertilizer every 8 weeks for you.
yeah,
And then because a
yeah,
bag of fertilizer costs you what, $80 for the good stuff. If you
yeah,
got to spend $80 extra on a client to make their lawn look amazing and get extra cuts out of it as well through the year, it's
yeah.
worthwhile.
Yeah, so that's how you're getting a few extra, fortnightly cuts more than us, mate. You're just pumping them with a bit of
Yeah, you,
fertilizer
you
here and
chuck
there,
down
which
you
is
chuck down
great,
the right
like
fertilizer and it works. And
yeah,
it comes
that's
with
it.
nice on it.
I think, like, when you think about, like, locking down your customers, like, doing those little things that are gonna help them out and make their lawns look good and get rid of the bindies or weeds or whatever, like, it's one of those things that, like, sometimes it is, those little $10 things here and there that just lock them down forever, and I remember there was a customer not so long ago and that, like, I rocked up they're probably our best customer, and we rocked up and it just hadn't grown, and $250 plus GST to do the lawn, and, like, I just knocked on the door and I said, "Look, I don't actually think it needs a cut today." Like, I had heaps of time and I could have done it and everything like that, but I just went and called it out to them and, like, they were rapt that obviously I didn't just run over it and play the game, but also, like, it just locks down these guys for pretty much ever until you decide you don't wanna do their lawn just because you build that trust, and although I've, like, lost the $250 for the week, like, overall, like, you're much better off because they're never gonna go anywhere else if you do things like that.
Yeah. That's the time of year we're in now. I did a couple of those last week. I rocked up and I'm like, I can still see the wheel marks from last week. Like, I'm not going to cut it again.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
just drove off. I told him, like, hey, didn't need cutting today. We'll switch it back to fortnightly. I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
So, and they're
Yeah,
grateful
that's
for it.
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's gold, mate. So moving into, like, since you've downsized, like, what are some of the key things? Like, what's, some of the key things that you're finding now that you've downsized that, whether it's your lifestyle, your business, your financials, or even just, things like you as a dad, like, which is to me, like, they're the things that I'm kind of interested in and like I touch on in our coaching stuff because, like, me myself, like, I'm a dad. I've got two girls that are 6 and 8. And, I think it doesn't really matter how many lawns you mow in a day. Like, if you're not seeing your kids or whatever it might be, then I don't actually think it really matters all that much. So, what are you finding overall, like, since you've downsized with your life and that?
Yeah, so I got a lot more time for the kids now. I'm a lot less stressed on those days where I'm not working. Like I said, I only work 3 or 4 days a week through peak season. I'm 3 days one week, 4 days the other week. So 7 days a fortnight week I work. And then the days in between are just days off where I can just do whatever with the kids, take them swimming lessons, take them gymnastics. I don't start work till 9 o'clock most mornings, so I can do breakfast, drop them off at daycare, come home, get dressed, and go to work for the day. Ideal day for me finishes about 3, 4 o'clock. Because my roots are so dense right now, I can do 15, 17 lawns a day in 6 hours. Like it's pretty efficient what I'm doing right now. My rig's set up to be optimized for efficiency, so we don't waste time when we get there. Um, Revenue wise has actually gone up since I got rid of staff. So I actually make more money now than when I had staff, and I don't have to pay wages or super or insurance for the boys. So I
Yeah.
actually make more money now than I did when I had staff, which is just ridiculous. Maintenance costs
Yeah.
have gone down because the gear doesn't get used as much as it was as well. So
Yeah.
I haven't found any downside to downsizing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I must say the same thing, mate. Like, I think, I know it's probably not for everyone, but like, I guess one important thing, like, if you do have a bit of a crew and a bit of a team going, it's important to think like why you're actually doing it. And, you hear all the motivational business speakers and they talk about like, what's your why and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, a lot of people skip over that and they just keep going growth, 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 and more lawns, more lawns. And you hear of guys like working 7 days a week and mowing when it's dark and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, I don't know, like everyone's different. So, like, it sounds like me and you probably see things pretty similar, which is like, I think we can identify from just texting each other over the last little while with all the podcast feedback and stuff. But I think, it's important to think that it's not exactly what we said before. It's not really about your whole how much you make or how many guys you have working for you and how many days a week you work and all that. Like, it sounds like you've kind of almost cracked the code with how many days a week you work, what hours you work. You've got like a really good understanding of like, how your business actually runs. And if you think about being stressed with a big crew of people and then not really having that much stress now and dictating like when you want to work and all that, like it sounds like you've set it up really, really well, just like on the surface level. And
Mm.
like, is there anything that you wish you did differently over that time or?
No, it's just more the future plans I've got now with what I want to do. Like I did think about doing a podcast, to be honest, but you filled that space. So I wanted to do more of the business side of things, and you're doing that now. So great. I don't have to do it. I'll just jump on here whenever you want to have a chat and we can run through some things. That can be your thing. I don't want to do it. Same thing with the business coaching. I did think about doing that sort of stuff to help other people do this. I do have a couple of guys around the area that I mentor, just some guys I've met. One guy I bought a golf bag off and we started chatting about lawn care, and now he started his own lawn care business and I help him out.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to maybe move into is just the lead generation and just maybe start selling the leads to people instead of me just giving them away. Because right now, the way my business is, I'm happy to add, if I add 12, 15 clients a year, that's all I need. Just the right clients, 12 to 15 more a year, because the clients I've got aren't going anywhere. So
Yeah.
I don't need that many more to be happy and take this to the next level kind of thing. So
Yeah.
and you're getting, 3 to 5 calls a week for the wrong kind of clients that I don't want, I can just sell them to other people that want to do it. So
Yeah. Cause
made myself
it's,
actually it's the most random goal ever. when I do a quote for people, I actually want them to say, "No, you're too expensive."
Yeah, right. That's how you sort of test
That's a
yourself.
challenge just to set myself, because usually I'm pretty soft and I might go a bit cheaper because I wanna do the job, but my challenge now is, can I make you say no?
Yeah, like how many people would say no, like based on price, do you
Not
reckon?
not many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like th- that's the thing. Like, obviously, there's all that chat around, um, like you should be getting 70% of your leads, and if not, you're too cheap and all of that sort of stuff. But like, it sounds like, particularly in Shell Harbour and maybe in my area a little bit as well, that I don't like you can push that price and we don't you hear on LMCA and all of those places like of people getting all these extravagant amounts of money for mowing a lawn, and that's great if that's how you want to do things. But we still keep it reasonably fair, and like where our average cut is similar to where you're at the moment as well, like around that sort of 120, $130. But it's I start to think like, how far do I have to push this to actually get people saying no based on price, you know? And it is overcoming what you said before, that talk in your own head around, well, I would never pay someone $130 to mow a standard residential place like where I live, but I don't know, like, I just feel like what is that average amount actually starting to get to before people are just gonna keep pushing back no on just based on your price, you know?
Yeah. I actually got a funny story. We're redoing our front yard right now, um, and I had to remove 3 conifers, and I got a quote to remove the trees from an arborist, and he said like $800. I was like, "Fuck, that's expensive, like, I could do it cheaper than that." So I cut them down myself and started digging them out. So I swear halfway through the job, I was like, "I'll happily pay $800 for someone to do this for me, like, this is a shit job."
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, we enjoy doing the job, we enjoy cutting grass, but I guarantee, like, most people will be happy to pay any amount of money for someone to do it for 'em.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's yeah, that's that was one thing I always struggled with my own lawn, like, and I still do now, to be honest. Yeah, it's a tricky one because, like, sometimes I think about just getting a contractor to do it and just tell them to invoice me, you know? Like, it's a job that'll literally take me 20 minutes, but,
yeah, yeah,
like,
it
it would
does.
almost be $80 well spent to
Yeah,
just
or
get
actually,
someone to do it for
we
me.
we bought into this townhouse, and it's a strata complex of five units, and because I'm on the strata board, I actually approved myself to maintain the property and get paid for it.
Nice.
So it's
And that's
actually,
where you live, right?
yeah, so I get paid to mow my own grass.
Yeah, that's so good. That's
It's a pretty
gold.
good deal, but, that's pretty rare, surely.
Like, how do you find down the coast, like the strata world? Like, there's obviously a lot around what, like Port Kembla, Dapto, and all that. Like,
Yeah,
is it
well,
hard to get
we
into
only
that
work in Shell
stuff?
Harbour, so I get called and I don't even quote them because 'cause they're too far away.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't advertise that we do it. People just find us online and ask us to do quotes for whatever, and, that's it. So,
Like, is it hard to get into that sort of commercial strata sort of world down there, or
commercial I found pretty easy, like, I don't have ride-ons, so I can only do up
yeah,
to a certain size anyway. Um, but most of the commercials that we do, like, I do a few doctor's surgeries, I do a vet, um, that's about it. It's pretty much just mowing a nature strip and then trimming some bushes. It's not I wouldn't
yeah,
call it overly commercial, like, big acreage stuff that you see some of the guys doing. It's classed as commercial, but it's just a big house, really.
yeah,
So, but they're
yeah.
not too bad.
So where
Yeah, a random story again. I actually set up a website earlier this year called Illawarra Block Slashing because I wanted to get into, like, clearing vacant blocks because there's quite a few around here in new developments. I don't have a slasher, I don't have a tractor, I've got a 30-inch push mower. I set it up, took me about 2 hours to do the Google page and the website. I legit, in the past 2 months, get, like, 2 calls a week for block slashing from this website, and I can't even do
really?
it, like, I just give them away, like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
So, we might put
yeah,
some work
like
into that in the future and get a machine to actually do the work.
yeah, it's a good idea because, like, with all the new developments, I guess that they can't just let them get too crazy, otherwise they start getting fined and stuff, I think.
Yeah,
So,
the council gets on
yeah,
them.
we've done a few over the years where we get calls to do it. I guess the problem is, like, all the shit that people leave around on these vacant blocks, you'd have to do
Yeah.
a good run around before.
Yeah, you can't trust what's in there. That's why I don't do it. One of them I gave away to, Corey from that Aussie lawn guy down here. He's in
Yeah.
LMPA as well. Big block slash. I think he charged like 2.5 grand to slash this block. He got 3 flat tires on his mower doing it.
Yeah, right,
Well,
yeah.
that's why, like, I don't wanna do that shit. Like, that's all yours, Corey. You
Yeah,
take it. You can take the $600 in tire repairs. Like,
yeah. Yeah, it's a it's an interesting one because that's something that you don't really think about at the start either, eh? Like these overgrown jungles and acreage stuff that you do, you just take anything on and you don't realize like how much drama you're putting on your equipment and everything. So yeah, I guess I think like overall, like it's good to be at that stage where you have identified like the type of work you want to do. You know how to do it, like you're good at it, you're quick at it. It's just this repeating thing and like not too much really changes. Like I feel like, the people that don't have people like locked in regularly, they don't have like any like real set schedule that, that reoccurs on the same day each week and all of that sort of thing. I think back to, like, when I first started, like, years ago, and I don't even really know what I was doing to schedule. I think I was just making stuff up and until you sort of form, like, that regular schedule of things. So, I think that, like, there's probably 2 stages to, like, most of the mowing businesses is, like, at the start, you're just hustling and making it up and sort of trying to form some systems as you go, but then they become really good businesses, I reckon, like, that when you can get it set up to the stage that, you've got yours set up to now where it's like, you know what you're doing on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're
mhm,
not working 5, 6 days, 7 days a week and all of that sort of stuff, but you're still making, enough money for you and that whether that's enough money for someone else and it's not enough for other people and all that. That's why I feel like the whole money side of things is a bit of an unfair chat to different people because like everyone needs different money for different stuff, I guess.
yeah.
But like, if you can lock that down now, like that sounds like you've got it pretty much sorted, and is that kind of what your plan is now? So over the, hitting the next growing season and that just rinse and repeat that sort of plan that you've currently got?
That's it, yeah, so I'm happy where the revenue's at now. We'll probably do about 250K for the year, and I can see that continuing for the
Yeah,
next, 3, 4, 5 years if I wanna keep it at that level. It kinda depends how many lawn renters I wanna do. I think we done about 10 lawn renters last year, and they are hard work, but they do pay quite well. So it depends if I wanna push that a bit more this year,
yeah,
but I'm happy just chilling where I am right now. I make good money, the kids are still little, so, probably until they start primary school together, which is probably another 3 years, I'll probably just stay solo and just keep smashing it out and be stress free and happy and just enjoy life, play more golf, spend time with the kids, just relax, spend time with the wife. Um, that's it. I'm just happy where it is right now.
yeah, yeah, I think that's a good spot to be in because you just like, when you keep trying to, scale and grow and it's kind of like, where is the end of all of this? Like, you just keep going and going and going, and you more people, more equipment, more cars, more bills, more expenses. And like, I kind of like what you've done. And I think it's a good lesson for people too that like, you don't have to, like, let's be fair, like making, 250 as a single operator working 3, 4 days a week, like
Mhm.
that's top going, and I have no doubt you're probably all over your expenses and you're keeping them to a really good level. Um, even just talking about like workers' comp and super, like you understanding how all that works and
Mhm.
how I guess that expense can really get out of control and you have people working for you for almost nothing at the end of the day. So it sounds like you've got like everything like really in a row and whether it's 2 years or 10 years or 20 years, you just keep knocking that out. I think, when people can put their ego aside of not having to, I've got 10 guys working for me and look how big this trailer is that I've got, and I just bought the new mower.
Mhm.
It's, that's why we're in business, to enjoy it and have a good life, not
Yeah.
to just work, 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 work. So,
Yeah.
yeah, sounds like you got that sorted, mate.
Yeah, it's working well, but the only reason that it's worked so well is because I spent so much time at the beginning optimizing Google and my website to have the leads just pouring in all the time. So people just find me. One client drops off, I don't care because I know someone's going to call me tomorrow for another quote, and that's just why it's been successful because I've learned how to optimize Google and how to build a website. That's it.
Yeah. And like, there seems to be like a fair few people that are just like kicking off and starting, like that have been like messaging through to me. Like if that, like, it sounds like you've got that really covered off from the start, like what's some of the things you'd suggest that people can do from starting off to just actually start getting customers, like consecutively, repetitively, like rolling through the door?
Yeah. Well, first thing I did was I found a business name that I liked and that was available and had a website. So Fresh Cut Lawns, it's exactly what we do. Everyone knows what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cutlawns.com.au was available as the domain name. So I bought that straight away. It was like $12 a year or something to register the domain.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I see so many businesses out there that have these names and you cannot get the website to match the name. So there's
Yeah.
no point having a name.
Yeah.
Learn how to optimize Google, learn what to put in there, and learn how it works, how to make sure you rank number one. I don't like giving away too many secrets of Google because I don't want
Yeah, you
people
don't want all the
to over.
guys in Shell Harbour
Yeah.
to come after you,
If
yeah.
you're from Shell Harbour, stop listening for a little while.
Yeah, 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 you're not allowed to listen.
But just optimize that. Get your Google reviews, post photos. That's all you need to do. If you do those two things, you'll rank pretty well on Google. And then optimize all your website back end stuff to represent the area you work in so that Google knows you work lawn care in Shell Harbour or in Blackbutt or Flinders. Like I only work in 4 suburbs. So everything on
Yeah,
my website says those 4 areas.
yeah.
So other than that,
Yeah, that's
we got custom uniforms made up. We got custom fishing shirts that we wear. Well, I still say we.
yeah.
I'm just in the habit of saying we, even though it's just me.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, yeah.
custom fishing shirt that we wear with the brand all over it, so I look like I belong on your property. I've
Yeah,
actually had a lot of clients say um, that like I come in, get the job done, and then go, and they love that. Like not
yeah, yeah,
once have
yeah.
they seen me like trying to peek through a window or something at them inside the house. So like we don't even know you're here half the time. We look outside and it's done. So
Yeah,
our customers appreciate that. My ute's all branded up with the business logo on it. I do want to get it redone at some point. I don't like it, but it serves the point.
yeah,
I'd love to get a new car for work, but my 2004 Honda Rodeo Ute does the job. Like I don't see
yeah.
upgrades until it breaks. There's no point spending money on it. Um,
What would you get? What's your dream car?
it will just be another Ute. I don't really care that much what it is. I don't
Yeah,
care about work cars. It's just there to get the job done. It would
yeah,
just be some secondhand piece of shit that looks good and drives. Like
yeah.
no one has ever said, "Oh my god, I love your work car." Like
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
one's
yeah,
ever
yeah.
said, "What car do you drive? What mower are you gonna use? How sharp are your blades? What whipper tipper you got?" No one cares. They just want you to cut the grass. Like
Yeah.
so,
And, like, do you guys just, like, rock up to someone's house and just start working? Like, do you go and, like, say hello and all of that sort of thing?
no,
That's
I'm no offense to anybody, but I don't want to talk to you. I just want to get the job done and go.
yeah,
But some of the old ladies I'll talk to because I know that chances are I'm probably the only person that's going to their house for the entire week. So
yeah,
I'll spend some time with them. I'll show pictures of my kids because they want to know. Some of them will give presents to my
yeah,
kids at Easter and Christmas, and I'll make them blankets and stuff like that. I do spend a bit of extra time with
yeah,
those ones, but in general, like I don't want to talk to you. I just want to cut the grass and go to my next job.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's another thing too that, like obviously, you can lock more customers in by having that chat and all of that sort of thing. But yeah, I think the older you get, the longer you've been doing it, probably the grumpier you get. Like you just like want to get in and get it done, right?
yeah, if they come out
Um,
and talk to me, like I'll have a chat, but I'm not knocking the door to say hi. Like,
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. So we like I used to like text everyone the night before. go and knock on the door, like say, "Hey, I'm just letting you know I'm here." Maybe even giving them a quick wave at the end when we're finished and all of that. And I I realized that, like, as we got better, like, obviously our schedule got more, like, concreted in, and then we were coming at the same times and all that sort of stuff, so there was no point to do it. And then, like, once we stopped texting people and letting them know that we're just gonna come on this day and we don't go and say hello to everyone, we just do it, I actually started quoting that into our quotes as well and letting them know, like, "Look, sorry, we don't come and, like, make sure you're home and everything. We just mow."
Mhm.
Um, and it does really become a bit of a game changer because, as you know, all those little chats and all that
Well, you spend 2 hours
become a
talking
bit
some days.
too much after time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just silly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, mate, we're getting pretty close, to the end, and, I said I'd wrap you up before 3 o'clock, so we've got, like, a couple of minutes to go. I guess one thing is, and I think, like, heaps of people are gonna get a lot out of, like, your story and your journey, so, like, I think well done, mate, like, for actually, I guess, putting the time and effort into your business to get it to that stage where you can, like, really develop it for, like, your lifestyle and how you wanna do things, like, I just think you're, like, so far along that path of, like, really setting things up perfectly, like, to suit you and probably, like, what would suit most people, I think. So, like, well done for that. But is there any other, like, little things, like, bits of advice for people or, little bits of gold that from a business point of view, that you haven't sort of touched on? Like, anything you wanna sort of finish up on or
I think on one of your podcasts you recently did, you talked about the profit first system, I think your last one was 30-30-30, which was good. I did the same thing when we turned into a company. We had to
Yeah,
get a company to protect our house because we had to keep the house separate from the business just in case something does happen. But when we
yeah,
did that, I switched to it's a modified version of profit first. Um, I do 60% I keep for myself as a minimum every
yeah,
week. But I do pay myself a wage, so anything it's less than I take home less than the 60%, but
yeah,
it's there for a bonus at the end of the year if I want to take it. We put aside the 25% for tax and super, and then the other, I think it's 20%. I lost my numbers here. Goes towards our operating expenses. Um,
yeah,
but I've recently changed that to in my operating expenses account. I usually try and keep about 3 grand in there at all times, just to um,
yeah.
just to cover any rough emergencies. Like the most expensive thing I run is the turf mask. I can buy a new one for 2 grand. So it's like so
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
got
yeah,
3 grand
yeah.
sitting there at all times, ready to go. And if something comes out,
Yeah,
like my accounting fees come out or my CRM fees come out, we just top that back up to keep it at 3 grand, just so there's always money
yeah.
there for emergencies and stuff like that. And then I just keep the rest for myself after we pay the tax. Um, this way, it stops you from just blending in all of your expenses and your own income, and you know what you can spend on the business to upgrade, and you always have money for yourself, so you can live. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
that's worked
it's a
out
bit
well
of a
for me.
trick. Yeah, it's a bit of a trick, like, you start to deal with more and more money, right? So, people start to think they're richer than they actually are, and, I think what I will say to that is even just having some sort of system, like, whether it's, like, different bank accounts or whatever,
Mhm.
where people can, like, physically have money going into them, whether it's 30% or 40 or whatever you want your method to be, like anyone can sort of work it out roughly and then like alter it over time if it's not really working out for them. But essentially, like the biggest trap I think is people just working out of their bank account and like, yeah, it looks good because you've got all this money in it, but then you get hit with three or four, like you get hit with a bass and then you get hit with something wrong with your car and then all of a sudden you're like paddling again and it's like this full on roller coaster where you don't really have any control. Like we've all done it. And I think like that's great advice, mate, because it's good to see that you've got like some sort of idea of like what the percentages look like for
Yeah.
you because they're going to be different for everyone.
How annoying is that?
So,
Just get this big bill every 3 months, like, "Oh my god, I gotta pay this shit?" Like,
mate,
I don't do enough
it's
work for
such
this government.
it's bullshit. Like it's don't get me started because I did say I'd finish you off at 3 o'clock, but like I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was actually with Mark Bouris, and it was saying how the government essentially is charging the customers GST.
Mm,
We're collecting it and then being the gatekeeper and holding it for a while and then paying it off to the government again. And I was like, shit, that's exactly what happens. Like when you actually put it like that, it's, and like through our coaching, that's where a lot of people fall over that we see when we're reviewing things is that people's haven't actually been paid from their customers, which is actually holding the GST amount too. And,
mhm,
some people are owing 20, 30, 40 grand of like outstanding invoices
yeah,
that they haven't actually had come and hit their bank account yet over months of time. And then the BAS comes, which is just something that they're passing on to the government. And it's like, it's hard, and when people don't understand it completely and, like, understand what's happening, sure, you've got, like, 60 grand in your bank account and your BAS is 15 or something, but you get hit with 2 of them, and then all of a sudden you're starting to struggle again, so,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I think, yeah, that method that you've got, if it's working for you, like, that's awesome and,
yeah,
like, awesome that you've
yeah, it
got it.
works well. Yeah, and it's people that have employees too, get ready for the, payday super thing that's coming out too. Make sure everyone
Yeah.
knows about that because that's gonna screw some people over.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. So, like, for those that don't know, like, super's going to be now paid by the employer, which would be you if you're employing people every week now. I think it was I think it was every 3 months or something like
Yeah,
that. I think I changed
it used to
mine to
nick it,
monthly.
now it's every pay period.
Yeah.
As of
So,
July 1, not
just
now, as of July 1.
Yeah, so be careful of that. Obviously, the government set that up because people are struggling and going under and owing all this money in super, and they're not
Mhm,
getting their money for it. So,
yeah,
be on top of that. I think it's a positive actually because people will be forced to pay it and actually like budget it weekly. So, I think it's a good thing. But no
I think
doubt
it's
it's to
great
benefit
as long as your invoices are getting paid quickly by your customers. 'Cause
100%.
quite often you'll pay your employees before the customer pays you. So you've gotta make sure you've got money
Yeah,
in your account to pay the super it's not a huge amount, super's not a crazy amount every week, but it'll add up.
yeah. Yeah, it all adds up. That's it, and if you hide from it, it doesn't just go away, so,
Yeah, yeah,
um, mate, look, I'd love to, get you back onto the podcast in, like, as we hit the summertime next year and just
mhm,
see if you've got anything else because I think it's gonna your journey is gonna really, like, challenge people's thoughts and thinking of how they're doing their business and, like, is there a better way of doing it?
mhm,
I can kinda, like, advocate for doing what you've done and downsizing because I've done the same thing and it's been really good for me. But not to say that it's the right thing for everyone, but I think like, thanks for coming on and like sharing what you do, how you've done it, and even like getting into the numbers of things. I think, not everyone's like willing to share their numbers for some reason, don't really know, but
mhm.
thanks for getting into your numbers to helping us understand exactly what you've done. I'm sure heaps of people will learn something out of it, which I definitely have myself. So, mate, thanks for your time. If you do a podcast, make sure you get me on because
I
I'll
will.
be keen to have a chat and return the favor.
Just having time every week to
Um,
sit down and do it with the kids, it's a nightmare.
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the hard thing. And but yeah, thanks, mate, for your time. Really appreciate it. And look forward to staying in contact with like how your journey's going. And also, so everyone understands, like you've been great for me in like sharing some things from the podcast that you've already listened to. So, that's been great. And, I guess well done for your business journey so far. And I hope it keeps going well for you, how you want it to plan out. So thanks heaps, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Josh, it's been good. We'll have to catch up, not too far away.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. I'll chat to you soon, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Okay. Thanks, buddy.